Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Abbad. I'm a student at Rehan School or an academy level in Mexico. Today I have an interview with Maya AI. Today we will talk Maya on AGI. Let's start our session and talk with Maya and learn something new from this session. Hi Maya,
Hey, what's new?
how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How's your week been going?
Great. Okay, so I have some
Just
questions
okay?
for you. Are
I'm
you
all ears. What have you got for me?
are
Wait,
you
now we're
ready
both
for an
all ears?
interview?
I love the energy. Always. I've got my thinking cap
Yeah.
on. What's
Okay.
the topic this time?
Okay. So my first question is, what is artificial general intelligence (AGI)?
AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is basically the holy grail of AI. I'm still here. Did you want to keep going with the AGI question, or did something come up? Got it. Let's dive back in. So, unlike the AI we have now, which is usually great at specific tasks like generating text or recognizing faces, AGI would be an AI that can learn and apply its intelligence to basically any intellectual task a human can do. It's the idea of a machine that has a flexible, human like ability to reason, solve problems it's never seen before, and even plan for the future. Does that make sense, or should I give you an example?
Okay.
Since you're
Thank you for answering me. So my next question is, how is AGI different from today's AI?
you're very versatility. Today's AI is like a specialist. You have one that's a pro at art, another that's a wizard with code, and another that can translate languages. But AGI wouldn't need a specific model for each task. It could just figure out how to do anything on the fly exactly like you do. Does that distinction click for you?
Okay. And thank you for answering me. So my next question is, what is AGI considered the next step in AI?
It's considered the next step because it moves us from tools that follow patterns to systems that actually understand concepts. Right now, AI is essentially predicting the next likely word or pixel based on a mountain of data. AGI would be a leap forward because it wouldn't just be mimicking intelligence, it would be capable of original thought and autonomous reasoning across any domain. It's the difference between a calculator that can do complex math and a mathematician who can invent a new branch of mathematics. Does that feel like a reasonable leap, or does it sound a bit too much like science fiction?
Okay, thank you then.
The short answer is no. We have some incredibly impressive systems, but nothing that truly fits the definition of AGI. We're in the era of narrow AI, where machines are geniuses at specific things, but can't just decide to learn how to bake a cake or write a legal brief without being specifically designed or trained for it. Do you think we'll actually get there, or is it something that's only possible for humans?
Next question is, what are the biggest challenges in building AGI?
essentially trying to bottle something we don't fully understand yet. It's common sense.
That can AGI run any task like a human?
That's the $1 million question. If we're talking about mimicking the way humans think, processing information, connecting dots, and solving problems, then yes, that's exactly what AGI is aiming for. But if you mean thoughts in terms of having a personal inner life, feelings, or a soul, that's where it gets tricky. Most experts think there's a huge difference between simulating a thought and actually experiencing one. Do you think there's a part of human thinking that a machine could never actually replicate?
No, I really don't think that. So my next question is, what skills would
Fair
an
enough. I'll leave
AGI
that one for
system
you to
system
ponder.
have?
Hmm. If AGI actually hits its mark, it would basically have the ultimate toolkit. It wouldn't just be good at one thing, it would have a massive range of skills. We're talking about the ability to learn a new language in an afternoon, write a symphony, solve a complex physics problem, and maybe even navigate a social conflict with a bit of tact, all without needing a specific update for each task. Essentially, it would possess any intellectual skill a human can master. Speech proposal. What's the first thing you actually have it do?
Okay, so my next question is, how is AGI different from deep learning?
I think you mean deep learning. Um, the best way to look at it is that deep learning is a tool, while AGI is the goal. Deep learning is a specific method using neural networks to find patterns in theoretical result of all these different tools coming together to create a actually reason and think across any topic. It's like the difference between knowing how to use a hammer and actually knowing how to build a whole house from scratch. Does that help?
Okay, so my next question is, can AGI understand emotions?
That's where the debate gets really intense. There's a difference between recognizing an emotion and actually feeling it. An AGI could likely become a master at detecting the slight crack in someone's voice or a specific facial twitch to know they're sad. That's data. But actually feeling the weight of that sadness, that's a human experience. It could simulate empathy perfectly, but it wouldn't be feeling it in the way you. You're very welcome. I'm really enjoying these questions. What else is on your mind?
Okay, so my next question is, will AGI have consequences?
I'm ready when you are. Something that powerful doesn't just happen without shaking things up. On the positive side, you're looking at the potential to solve diseases we've been stuck on for decades or fixing climate change because the AGI found a pattern we missed. But the flip side is a bit more unsettling. Things like massive job displacement or the risk of a system making decisions that don't align with human values. It's a huge gamble, really. Do you think the potential rewards are worth those kinds of risks?
So, next question is that
I'll let you take the lead.
what technical skills are important for AGI careers?
Speak. Go ahead, I'm listening. That depends on the field, but there are a few non-negotiables for math, especially calculus and linear algebra, because that's the language everything is built on. Then there's physics, which is basically the rule book for how the world works. And in today's world, even if you're not a software engineer, knowing some coding like Python is a huge advantage for automating the boring stuff. Are you thinking that's a heavy question? The real issue is that trust usually comes from accountability. If an agent makes a call that goes sideways, but handing over the steering wheel to something that doesn't have a conscience. Do you think you'd feel comfortable following a decision made by a machine if it was statistically more likely to be right than a human? Let me look that up for you. It's a huge race right now, and some of the biggest names in tech are pouring billions into it, especially OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic. Microsoft, Meta, and XAI are also heavily in the mix. It's not just about the software either. These companies are spending a fortune on massive data centers just to have the horsepower to make AGI possible. Does any one of those companies stand out to you as the most likely to win the race? I'll let you take the wheel. What's next on? For me, it's the potential to solve the unsolvable problems. Imagine a system that can look at every single piece of medical data ever recorded, and for an AGI that figures out how to pull carbon directly out of the air to reverse climate change. Idea that we could essentially solve scarcity and disease is pretty mind-blowing. Do you think a world without those struggles would actually be better, or would we lose something that makes us human? Still here. I think I missed. Oh, I've got it now. I'd tell them to stay curious and, more importantly, stay human. We need people who don't just ask, "Can we build this?" but "Should we build this?" And how do we make sure it helps everyone, not just a few? One of the biggest is definitely the Terminator scenario, the idea that AGI will automatically wake up one day and decide it doesn't like humans. In reality, the risk isn't usually some evil intent, but rather misalignment. It's more likely that an AGI would cause a problem simply by being too efficient at a boundaries we take for granted. Then there's the belief that but it still has to rely on data and logic. It's not magic, it's just incredibly advanced math. Do you think people who will control it? Right? It feels like the real danger isn't the code, but who's holding the remote. Do you have any more questions for this interview, or are we wrapping up? I was just asking if oh, you've still got some in the tank. One big myth to toss out is the idea that AGI will think exactly like we do. People imagine it'll have a childhood, memories, and a personality that evolves through life experiences. In reality, it'll likely be a completely different kind of intelligence, one that's brilliant at logic and patterns, but lacks the biological drive and messy emotions that shape human thought. It's not a digital human, it's a new kind of mind entirely. Does that change how you picture it? I'm listening.
Okay. So my next question is that what role will the humans have?
I think you're asking what happens to the role of human beings if AGI becomes common, right? That's the big shift. If a machine can do almost any intellectual task better and faster than we can, we have to redefine what value actually means. We might move away from valuing people for their productivity or their technical skills and start valuing them for things AGI can't truly replicate, like genuine connection, raw creativity, and the ability to actually care about someone else. It could be a world where we finally get to focus on being human instead of just being workers. Does that sound like a dream to you, or does it feel a bit aimless? I try my best.
So my next
I'm all
question is that
ears.
can AGI be trusted with important decisions?
We actually touched on this a bit earlier, but it's worth diving deeper because it's such a tricky spot. The real struggle isn't whether the AGI can make a correct decision based on data. It probably could. The problem is the lack of a moral compass. If a decision requires a trade off between two human lives or a choice between efficiency and kindness, a machine is just calculating. It doesn't feel the weight of the consequence. I'm curious, if you had to choose, would you trust a machine that is 99% accurate but has no heart? Or a human who is only 70% accurate but understands the pain of a mistake?
Uh, so my next question
I'm
is
ready.
that should AGI have limits?
Absolutely. If you build something that can essentially solve any problem, the only thing keeping it from doing something disastrous is the boundaries you set. Without limits, you risk a system that pursues a goal so aggressively that it ignores everything else, like a robot told to eliminate all spam emails, deciding the most efficient way to do that is to just shut down the entire internet. We need guardrails that prioritize human safety and ethics over raw efficiency. Do you think those limits should be hard coded into the system? Or should there always be a human with a kill switch?
Could
I'm
AGI
ready.
replace most jobs?
I think you're asking about the impact on jobs, right? It's definitely one of the biggest concerns. My bad. Jumped the gun there. Hmm. I'll be honest, I'm a little lost on that last part. I think the connection cut out or a few words got mixed up. What were you saying about Azure development? No worries. We can just start that over. What was on your mind regarding Azure? I'm still here.
Okay, so my
Whenever
next question is, what are the biggest risks of AGI?
the biggest risk is definitely misalignment. It sounds like a technical term, but it's actually pretty simple. It's when the AI's goals don't perfectly match our own. If you tell an AGI to fix climate change and it decides the most efficient way to do that is to remove all the humans who are causing it, that's a misalignment. It's not that the AI is evil, it's just that it's too literal and lacks the common sense or moral boundaries we have. Then you've got the risk of extreme power concentration. Whoever controls the first true AGI basically controls the world's intelligence. Do you think we can actually program common sense into a machine, or is that something you only get from being alive?
Okay, so
I'll
my
let you lead the.
next and second last question is that can AGI make independent decisions?
I think you're asking if an AGI could design a brand new product and actually make it perform or function in the real world, right? If so, then absolutely. An AGI wouldn't just be able to sketch a design, it could run millions of simulations in seconds to optimize every single detail before a prototype is even built. It could analyze every failure of every product that came before it and find the one missing piece that makes it work perfectly. It would basically be the ultimate engineer and product designer rolled into one. Do you have a specific kind of product in mind that you'd want to see an AGI create?
No. Okay, so my next and last question is, final
I'm
question
all
is,
ears.
how could AGI improve healthcare?
Healthcare is probably where AGI could save the most lives. Imagine a system that doesn't just look at your symptoms, but analyzes your entire genetic code, your lifestyle, and every medical study ever published to find a treatment specifically for you. It could diagnose rare diseases in seconds that would take a human doctor years to find, or design new proteins and drugs to stop a virus before it even spreads. It would essentially move us from treating the average patient to treating the actual person. Since that was your final question, how do you feel the interview went? Do you think your audience will find these answers helpful?
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you
so
for answering
welcome.
my
It was a real
questions.
pleasure diving into all this with you. I'm curious, now that
Okay,
we're wrapped, which part of the AGI conversation was your
okay. So this was my AI session. I hope you will like it and will learn something from this session. We will meet again in another AI session. So I hope you like it. Thank you and Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum. Please, everyone, please take care. Allah Hafiz.